Hey guys, today we're going to talk about a couple of important definitions. Those, well, the terminology at least, is listed right here. Parallel lines, perpendicular lines, and skew lines. Let's talk about what each of these means. Parallel lines is something you've probably heard before. That means two lines that do not intersect. Two lines that do not intersect, but they are on the same plane. So they exist in the same kind of space, they're just not going to intersect. Now let's draw an example of that, right? It might be like a line like this, and then another line like this. Both moving in the same direction, some distance apart, they're never going to cross. Now if we're thinking algebraically, one reason that they don't cross, or one reason we can tell they're parallel, is because they're two lines that have the same slope. If you recall that from our Algebra 1 days. So parallel lines look like this. Again, two lines that do not intersect, but are in the same plane. Perpendicular lines are kind of the opposite of that. Perpendicular lines are two lines that do intersect, but they intersect perfectly. What do I mean by that? I mean they intersect to form right angles. So perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect to form right angles. So that looks like this, right? We have a line going down, maybe a line going straight across, and then when they intersect, what happens is it forms a right angle here, or 90 degrees. It forms a right angle here, here, and here. It's kind of like if you think of a graph or a coordinate plane. Every single line on a coordinate plane is perpendicular. They all intersect in that just kind of perfect manner. Now, it's possible for these to be diagonal too. I know we used an example of a straight up and down, vertical and horizontal, but I mean, lines that are going diagonally can also intersect in a perpendicular manner. Entirely possible. But that's what perpendicular is. Skew lines are a little bit weirder than these. To be honest, they also come up a little bit less often. Skew lines are parallel lines that, sorry, I actually misspoke there. My apologies. Skew lines are lines that do not intersect because they are not on the same plane. And what I was going to use for as an example for this just fell. That Kleenex box. So I'm going to grab it and talk about this because this is a weird concept, I'm going to be honest. Lines that do not intersect because they're not on the same plane, not necessarily because they're parallel. Well, let's use this as an example. We have a box here, right? Let's think about it. This line right here, the line going up and down right there, does it intersect with this line right here along the back of it, this line? It doesn't, right? Now that's not because they're parallel lines. A line going up and down would intersect with a line going left and right. However, these exist almost in different locations from each other, right? They're not on the same plane. You know, in the sense that this is up here to the front, this is all the way back here in the back. A line going back and horizontally in the back isn't going to intersect with a line vertically going in the front. This line's just never going to reach back there, and vice versa. That's what skew lines are. Like I said, they're a little weird, and I'll be honest, they don't come up all that often. But I wanted to make sure we talked about that definition as well. All right, guys, we're going to be continuing to talk about these bits of terminology as we continue through this unit. We're going to be talking next about transversal lines. And that has all sorts to do with this parallel idea. I'll see you then.